don't think I can share it on my business page. I think I can only share it on my personal page. But is it also going to YouTube?
Yes, yes,
So then it will be
oh,
recorded on YouTube and
oh,
I can share that.
yeah, no, and it's live on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. It's
Oh, okay.
but my YouTube channel is maybe it's better I send you to. Do you
But
have?
once it's finished,
Yes,
will it be on YouTube?
absolutely, yes,
I can share that then.
yes. But you cannot share from my page to
I don't
your.
think I can. I don't think
I
my
think I think you,
my
yeah.
business page, only to my personal page.
Oh, it's already live on my page,
Oh, cool.
and then if you feel like you can try, but it's not. It's saying you cannot share.
I can, but only to my. Oh, maybe I can.
Okay, yeah, I think it's just share, and then you put
I
it's
can.
yes, great, great. Hello, all joining us. We are just finishing some technical issues.
There we go.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I'm not the greatest technician in the world, but
Uh,
I have solved that problem.
neither do I. I'm really
Okay,
like that.
great.
Yes. So I'm so grateful to have you here, Rebecca.
Well, me too. Thank you.
And hello, all that may be joining or that are joining us now. Um, if you feel, oh, I have to put the sound low on my phone. So I'll be seeing the comments on my phone. So
Mhm.
I'd love that everybody that is watching can contribute and share whatever you are feeling or ideas or questions or whatever. And now
Terrific.
I give the mic to Rebecca. Yes.
Okay. Well, this is a good time actually because I do most of my live events early in the morning because I have a lot of people in the United States that listen. And so this time we get people in Europe, a good time for them, hopefully. So that's good.
Yeah, great, great. Here in Portugal is morning. Right now, there are a lot of people still in not working due to this situation, but some are already working, but they will join when they they can. And yeah, that's I like this concept of we are always in the now when we join something. We if
This
we
is true.
yeah if we put the intention that will be now. Yes.
That's right. Well, one of the good things about being a channeler is you can't really prepare too much. So
Yes.
every conversation that you have just happens in the moment. It's good
Yes.
practice for life.
I'd like to ask you if you want to share something that you do. You already are connected, me too, but maybe we could do some connection, some heart connection or something with everybody that is watching, and something that you do, some kind of small meditation or some breathing or some.
I actually don't do anything like that.
Yes.
Um, I think that I mean I do obviously if I'm doing a channeling workshop, but as far as my own personal practice, I don't actually have ritual practices. I know that's probably not the answer that you were
No,
expecting,
no, no, no.
um, but I think I think because I'm in and out during the day, for me, I guess the way that I feel very present in a moment is to actually feel my body. And I think we forget to do that because we think, where should I center my mind, get my breathing right? Well, breathing's great because it helps you become aware of your body. But for me, if I actually just stop and I feel my body, instantly I'm present. And that's enough for me.
So maybe
It's
we just feel
myself.
our bodies, everybody that is watching, and yes, I'm feeling the same. And it's funny. No, I do the same as as you do. I don't have any practice, so let's just feel our
Mm.
bodies a little bit. Thank you.
You know, it's not difficult because we all have a body, but we forget to involve it and include.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, it's also like feeling my feet on the ground, feeling the connection with the planet. For me, it's really powerful thing because I really,
I think it's,
yes, say.
sorry, go on.
No, it's okay, it's okay.
I think to include our bodies so much right now on the planet because there's so much instability that we can feel around us. And sometimes we think that because everything around us is unstable, that your body is also unstable. I think we underestimate how intelligent our bodies are. They are designed like a cosmos, and we don't really trust our bodies. And so for me, being aware of my body is a little bit like traditional prayer for a lot of people. You know, they get back in touch with their God. They sit in that space and they feel safe, and that's where their trust is. For me, the body is the doorway to our God. So I trust the body. That's always so important, I think, in meditation. And so much of meditation practice is not about the body. So I always try and include.
Yes, yes, yes. What I was
Mm.
going to say, it's for me like I don't know where I, I heard something that gave me a confirmation or a hint, and of course it makes all sense because of the connection with the planet, and because I think the planet is also like we could call a soul between so it's a living being, and we are part of that soul too in a way. I don't know, that's what I feel.
Sure.
So uh, if we say I'm connecting with Gaia, with planet, and we you really feel that flow. I feel really strong the flow, and it's amazing for me. It is a yeah, calling my presence. I feel my body, as you said, but the first thing is my feet on the ground, even if I don't have.
Yes.
But or the breathing, because when we are breathing, we are bringing all the air that comes from the planet. So yes,
Yes.
yes, it's
And again, it's the physical nature of the planet. I mean, in third dimensional reality, we're having a physical experience. And I think so often we try to feel connected with the earth, not through physical means. And so much of our modern lives, we're not connected physically with the earth. I'm sitting on a chair that's made from artificial material. The shoes that I have, I don't have physical contact with the earth most of the
yes,
time. And I think, again, how can we feel connected to the cosmos if we're not doing it through our bodies? We forget our interconnectedness because we don't use our bodies enough to feel connected, I feel. I mean, that's why it's so interesting now on the planet. We're all being asked to socially distance ourselves, social isolation. How can we know we really exist if we don't have that physical reference and connection? It's
yeah.
very difficult.
That's why people are so much longing to be together again. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like neighbors, they never used to talk, and now they meet. And I have experienced like when I go to the shops, people are like that, very close and with masks. And then I say hello, and people they big smile, you know, big smile under the mask, and you
Shocked.
see, wow. And before maybe they wouldn't say, they wouldn't feel so excited, but uh, now nobody is speaking to them, and so when someone speaks and is smiling, and they ah, so good, you feel something that they breathe, and yeah, it's amazing the feeling.
Yeah, I think touch is very, very important too.
Yes.
You know, our skin is the most intelligent organ in our body. I think science doesn't really understand a lot about the intelligence of the skin yet, but you know, it senses so much, and it receives and transmits information so much. And I think touch is very, very important. And I think we're becoming more aware of this because of what we've been through in the last couple of months.
Yes.
We've been encouraged not to touch not only each other, but not to touch objects.
Yes.
You know, it's so interesting because it's actually the opposite of our natural intelligence system. It's like closing off your intelligence, not to touch things. You see young children, and all they want to do is touch things
Yes.
because they haven't yet learned that their mind is more intelligent than their skin. So everything for them is about touch. And we learn a lot from young children.
Whoa. It's amazing when like we were talking about the other day about the homeschooling, because you are homeschooling, I'm homeschooling, and we have kids with similar age, and they say the most amazing things, and but most of the time the the the, the carers, the parents or the teachers, or they are not open to actually hear what they are telling us, what these new generations are telling us. So they don't catch the messages that they are giving us, and because they are much more simple, uh, like we are trying to explain something. This happened with my kids. I'm trying to explain something, and I'm giving a lot of circling around the subject, and then they and then they just say uh, like one phrase, and they say da, 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 and is everything there? And they say it's obvious, mom. Why are you
Yeah, yeah, it's
saying
the
so?
same for me.
Yeah.
I cause a lot of frustration in my house trying to explain things. You know, the eyes start rolling. Oh, you take so long to explain anything. Just get to the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Ah,
And now you are talking about this, and I remember my father. I had the same feeling with him. So of course, because uh, it's the collective expansion, and so a
yeah.
generation after generation, there is this same feeling. Yeah, and it's amazing. And usually we were taught that the older ones they know best, and in a sense, yes, it's very important to listen to the elders. But right now is not the elders. The people listen to the working persons, to the persons that are producing. The elders they are forgot, and the children they don't know anything.
Mm.
That's the general idea, but actually, yeah, it must. Maybe it should be the other way. The elders they
Well,
will. I don't know.
you know, in the last years of the Atlantean civilization, the children were given to the elders,
Yes, yes,
and that's where they used to do their education. So the children would stimulate the elders, and the elders would stimulate the children, and it kept them both at their maximum potential,
yes.
which was really interesting. I wonder if that's one of the reasons they lived for much longer.
Absolutely, I agree. And actually, in Japan, I have I have some friends from Japan, some virtual friends. But actually, I have a Japanese girl that she came here because she was a friend of my brother-in-law, and we were talking about Japan culture, and they are already doing that, like the elders. They they are very active. They do gymnastics. They they are like when people come to the city, they are the ones that show them around the places and speak about traditions, and also they are with the kids a lot. So in Japan, they are already doing that, and they have
Mm.
one of the most highest longevity. average in the world.
Yeah.
So yes.
It's really interesting, actually, isn't it? Because I watched, for example, my parents and my son with my parents, and he really likes the way they don't care about what people think about them. So they don't care about being politically correct. Or asking for the manager at a shop if they're not happy with something, you know. Uh, my son finds that very amusing. And I think, again, that's very childlike. And when you come to the later years in life, you stop trying to follow the rules and do the right thing. It's kind of happens in the middle
Yes.
where we are, and
Yeah.
Isabel,
Exactly.
trying to do everything correctly.
Oh, but I think I'm already on the
You're already out.
elder side, you
Yeah.
know.
I'm a work in progress.
No, but you too, because you stepping out and sharing your message, your channelings is you are not following the rules.
That
Yeah,
is true. I
yeah.
should really get a real job at some point. No, I'm just kidding. I tried that many times. It didn't really work out for me.
Yes, yes.
uh,
We have
yeah.
my friend Alexandra Salgueiro, and she's saying the importance of touch. Touch is vital. Yeah, that's true. Yes,
Mm.
because about we were saying, and yeah, but that's another thing that I'm. These conversations are this for me not following the rules,
Yes, true.
showing up, and I was thinking always before starting, I am like, are you going to say? Like, what will unfold? You know, our mind creating. And then I said, trust, trust that it will be perfect. But it's always like I'm jumping from, yeah, this is a blind date. And the
Yeah.
feeling is like I'm jumping in the open air. Whoa, catch me.
Well, it's alchemy. It's two different signatures coming together, and when we come together, we create something new, and that's the conversation. So I
Yes,
always trust in the alchemy of the cosmos.
yes,
Definitely.
yes.
Yes.
And I'm
So in
learning. Yes, keep
so
on.
in Portugal right now, are you still quite limited in what you can do and where you can go to open up now?
Uh, we are no more in emergency state, and so but there are still a lot of rules. Like when you enter in a closed space, you have to use
Mm-hmm.
a mask, wear a mask. But on the open air, no. And also there is restrictions about people being together in big groups or things like that.
Yeah.
But where I live, it's so calm that we didn't notice. I live on a farm, and here near here there's a small village with like 200 persons or 300 persons living there,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, everybody is relaxed and nobody is wearing anything. And but in Lisbon, yes, in Lisbon, in big cities, there are. But I have a friend. She was here on weekend, so we had already some friends visiting here on weekend. Not my friends, but with a nephew, and they said they saw a lot of people coming back to Lisbon from the south. So actually, I believe a lot of people they were out in the weekend as they used to do at the summers in the normal situation. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, things are coming to normal, I believe. And because people are very anxious to get out and to be together again, and as you told, so but I'm not the best person to speak about it really because I'm a little bit far away. So I just hear the echoes. And yes, and but you
That's
already
good.
you can came out of home already too.
Yes, yes. I mean, I went into 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
complete quarantine when it first started here because I was in another country and I came back and I had to go into mandatory isolation. And since then, I've just been so busy actually creating content and
Yes.
writing another book, and I haven't really left the house much.
Yeah.
Anyway, the weeks go by. Oh, whoops! I should probably go out sometime soon. But for me, I guess it's okay because I normally travel so much in the year, and now I can't travel, so I'm just using the time to create more content, which is what I'm doing. I'm creating a lot of content now. So I have a membership site too that's nearly ready. So I've
Wow.
been that's on its final stages of preparation. So yeah, it's a good time to focus.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
And I guess that's always the point. How do we look at things? You know, what is our view about some subject? You may say, "Oh, I'm here, I'm caged, I cannot go out," or something, or you can focus on, "Oh, now I have a lot of time to do things," or and
Yes,
in any
yes,
situation is is always the same.
that's true. That's
Mm-hmm.
true. I do feel a bit frustrated sometimes because I like seeing my friends, and a lot of my friends do not live in Western Australia. Most of I have a small group of friends here that I really enjoy being with, but a lot of my close friends do not live here.
Yes.
They live in other countries, and
Yes.
I'm very lucky because I get to see them when I'm traveling uh, for channeling. But it's a little difficult not being able to see them. Yeah,
Yeah. We did
that's okay.
lunch or dinner with our friends with Zoom.
Oh, that's nice. But
Yeah.
I'm a hugger. I'm a
Yeah.
very those people that know me, I am actually a very touchy-feely person. I like hugs. I like physical affection. So as much as I love conversation, it's very stimulating. Sometimes I just really want to have a hug. So anyone who's listening who wants to give me a hug right now, that would
Oh,
be great.
I'll give you a hug.
Thank you.
You know, I'm the same. I love hugging and touching the persons, and
Yeah.
I have to refrain myself from that because
Yes.
when I see
Yes.
someone, I want to hug, and people are like, "Oh," and actually, there was a time I wanted to write some post and be on a public place and like free hugs, come here. And I
Yes.
actually I saw a small video. It was amazing. There was a girl. She has that sign saying free hugs, I guess, because I couldn't read. But she had some how do you say something closing the
A
eyes.
blindfold. Mhm.
Yes, and then she was with arms open, with blindfold, and the people will come and hug her. This is an amazing uh,
Again, the
challenge.
skin
Yes,
and the intelligence of that sense
yes,
would be really amplified.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. It was
Cool.
amazing. But
Hmm.
I feel the same about hugs, of course. And like the other day, we we finally met these friends that we were doing virtual um, lunch and dinners, and then we hugged each other, and it was really yes.
That's
Um,
nice.
it was really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, teenage children, they don't like hugging so much. So.
No, but my kids they do, you know. It's funny. Like my daughter, she says she prefers hugging than kissing. I don't know why. She she doesn't like to give kisses, but she likes hugs.
Hmm.
And my boy too. Yeah, they are. But I know what you mean. Like they have that age that they don't
Yeah, you
want
give them a
to.
hug,
Yes.
and after maybe 2 seconds, okay, that's
Okay,
enough.
okay.
Let go, mum, let go, let, let go. And
Yeah.
that's what I say. But scientific studies show that if you hug for more than 30 seconds, it's better for you. Let go of me.
Yes, yes. And me this has been much more easy about physical because we are in the farm with 12 persons. Some were not hugging, but like here inside the house we were hugging, and so
Yeah.
I was hugging my husband and my four kids, and so, yeah,
Nice.
it was nice. Yes, I understand. If I was in your position only with the one kid at house, at home, and alone, yes, I would be feeling,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's
You know,
really, yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a connection. I was just thinking, obviously during all of this COVID-19
Yes,
business, we can't do live events as easily. And having been to and done quite a bit of traveling, as you have, Anna, Isabel, I think, well,
yes,
we've met at some of these things before. The attraction in going to these big conferences and meetups, I feel, is actually the physical connection, because there's quite a few of us at the moment who are channelers and other presenters who are still offering information, but we're doing it on the web like this. But it's not the same for people. They can feel vibrationally connected. But I was having a conversation actually with a really good friend of mine in San Diego yesterday, and we were talking of another person who comes along to these big conferences, and we were talking about whether it's possible to actually just do these huge channeling events on the web in the future. And we were saying, well, if you think about it, people travel and they go on planes and they book hotels and they go to these conferences. Really, when you get there, everybody's just hugging each other and touching each other. And I personally feel that that's a major reason that people go to these events. Yes, it's wonderful to have the information, but it's the physical connection. I mean, you've been to events like that. Everybody's touching everybody. Agree?
Actually, I only was in one event like that
Oh, okay.
in Lisbon with Cryon.
Okay.
And but yes, the energy was amazing and I loved it.
Yeah.
I have traveled a lot because I used to be a flight attendant, so I had this
Oh,
experience.
wow. I didn't know that.
Yes, yes, and it was very interesting for me that being flight attendant because that gave me a taste of traveling, of staying in hotels, of a lot of stuff while working
Hmm.
because I couldn't afford travel other way. So it was really interesting. But I know what you mean about the energy that is there when people gather, and I what I feel is people, most of the people, they don't even have consciousness that that is what they are seeking because they tell to themselves like I'm going there because I will receive information from some source out there, and but actually when they are there, that's what I they are getting
Yeah, it's the human
is the
connection.
human. and
Definitely.
and also I had one experience very interesting. So that's what, because I'm feeling that we it's very important that we gather together, and that energy also happens in the internet from some experiences I have
It
been
does.
having, but of course in physical is much more
Physical. Yeah.
amplified. And when my older kid he finished the university, there was mass mass on
Hmm.
small forest, and so it was a Catholic mass. But it was very interesting when the priest he asked the persons to say a prayer that is the Father Nostrum, you know, Padre Nostrum,
Hmm.
and the energy was so strong, and because I don't follow any religion anymore, and most of the people that were there, and most of the Catholics, they don't follow actually. They just were taught that they must go to the mass. And but it's amazing because several people saying one pray together, and they were not even really believing in it, but it's the most known pray, and the energy was so strong that I was crying, and
Mm.
people are were looking at me like she's crazy, or is she any fanatic, but because I was feeling the energy is so strong, so the power that we have together is so amazing, if and when we have the intention, that will be much more amplified, because in that moment people were just, it's a party,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think it's really, for me, even more powerful than intention is agreement.
Yes, yes,
Because when
I agree.
everybody is in agreement, then there is an amplified effect,
Yes,
an amplified effect. So I think, yeah, you might not even know what you're agreeing to. You're just agreeing to be there, and then something can happen. So I think for me, agreement is more powerful than intention.
yeah, when I use the word intention, that's another thing, the words that we use and the meaning of a word has to you, and for me has another meaning, and for someone watching has another meaning. And so I sometimes I wonder how we humans we can understand each other's, because sometimes, like, uh, we are saying, we are trying to say something, and for the other person the meaning is a lot different. In this case, it's because my vocabulary sometimes I don't find the word exact.
No, but I
Yeah.
think these conversations you have even within the same language, even with somebody else speaking English or with you, someone else speaking Portuguese, people place different meaning on different words, of course.
Yes, yes, yes. But at some time there is that layer of information that is exchanged, that is not through the words, which is also very beautiful. And that's what I, and that's what you told us when we were once, when we were before starting, you will be channeling, I was going to translate.
Translate, yeah.
Yes, and the message that came to us was that we should be, as you say, in agreement first with ourselves, and then from that point
And then
everything, yes, will flow. And every time I before will begin to do something, I remember you and this message, and I say, so are you in agreement with yourself, are you? And also I ask, are you feeling joy? If you are not feeling joy, so it's time to start to having fun about this, because you wanted to do this, or else you give up. Because if you are doing this, it's better to be joyful or find the joy, because there is always a,
or don't do it.
or don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
true. That's so true. You know, that's been one experience I think in the last 5 years, especially. I think the more true we are to the wisdom in ourselves, the more difficult it is to engage in anything that doesn't bring you joy, because there's just no energy for it anymore. It used to be that your brain was enough and your mind, you could discipline your mind, or this is speaking for myself personally, I could discipline my mind to focus on something I didn't really want to do, but I could still get it done. Of course, how else do we get through school and university and all of these things and jobs that we don't really particularly enjoy? But I found that the last 5 years, the more dedicated I am to the channeling work that I do, my brain cannot engage with something if my consciousness doesn't want to do it. It will literally switch off. And I could be reading the same piece of paper 50 times and my brain will not just does not recognize anything. And then I can look at something else and all of a sudden I'm completely focused. Let's get into it. So I find that the choices that I make now, what I have to do, the choices now are, is the energy here to do this or not? And I've actually been working like that now for about 2 years completely. Very interesting because I work with, obviously, I have some people that help me, with marketing and website, all the practical things. And they actually now starting to understand the way that I work.
Yes.
Because if I can't do it, I'm sorry, there's no energy for this for me today. What else can we do? And it's good because now there's no demands for deadlines. I have to have this done by this date. I have a list of things to do every week and every day. Which one feels okay today? Okay, that one. Maybe that one. Maybe that one. Just where the energy is. And it's much more efficient. I have a lot more free time
Yes.
working this way. It's good.
Yeah, that's another thing, the time. Uh, because there is this sense of time is really speeding up. I have a friend that he says that we are accessing, and that makes sense when I heard that. It makes sense to me that we are accessing much more information per hour than we used to access before. That's why we have this feeling that the time is speeding up in a sense. I don't know, but at the same time,
So
I don't
do
know.
you think that is information from external coming in, or do you think it's
No,
information from internal coming out?
accessing, accessing in the sense that we are that totality, so we are accessing the information. It's not coming in and or out. Oh, there is that. What
Mm.
I feel about information is there is a breathing that each form, each of us, we are breathing in and out with the totality, and also we are the totality, and there is this exchange of information at every second, at every moment, and all this information is always expanding, and but there is always it's like a breathing for me, and so when
Hmm.
I say accessing in the sense that maybe we are, yeah, maybe our density is less, so we are able to access more, access, but not from outside or inside, because there is no outside or inside in a sense. But when we have this form, we have the idea, oh, we are accessing from the outside, from somewhere out there. But which, in a way, it's also true because if there are so many beings, they are exchanging information. So it's difficult to say that it's outside or inside because if we are the totality, it's from inside, but it's from it's everything that is and that isn't for me.
That's
So
true, but
yeah,
I think that our inner cosmic wisdom tends to come out of us less as concept and clear thought, and the information that we absorb tends to be very concept driven, thought driven. And when we're bringing information in from outside, it tends to go here first. When we're bringing information into the world, it tends to come out from here. So I completely agree with what you're saying about the totality. I think humanity needs to move and will move to a time where this and this is completely connected, and then this and this all starts to flow together. But at the moment, I think we are still in a stage where there's this kind of information and there's this kind of information, and they're not necessarily flowing as one. But it's happening. We're on the bridge.
yes, absolutely. I feel there is no way that this cannot happen. Yeah, maybe even we on this planet as a species, we can we could terminate ourselves, let's say, but right now I think we have passed that point. But it maybe it could happen. I don't know. Maybe in some potentials, this is still there. This idea that of self extermination, or but anyways, uh, we are eternal as energy. So
Well,
we
yes,
start
and
over again, and probably we
yes,
did it several times already. That's what I feel, that I already did it in other places. So I don't know. I have this feeling, but I don't
yeah.
remember
I mean,
yet.
I think, the whole paradigm of reincarnation and coming back and doing it again, it's a cycle that's very hard to resolve. It's very hard to get out of, and I feel that's really fourth dimensional concept. Fifth dimensional concept, we start to get out of that loop, and that is really having choice for the first time, because a lot of the time we think we have free will and we think we have choice, but we don't if we're making subconscious choices based on history. And a lot of the time we're making choices that are really based on a program of belief. We believe these are our choices, and so we only choose from a very limited choice. So that for me is not real free will. That's not free will. So I know that a lot of people say, well, humans have free will. Not within a context of karmic cycle and reincarnation. I don't think we do. I think we have free will, but we're not exercising free will. We're not using it. So, there's so many people at the moment that are choosing. You talk about uh, self annihilation, leaving the planet, suicide, end of existence. There's so many humans that are leaving the planet now. We know that, especially in the last 18 months. I've lost two family members to suicide just in the last 3 years. And just in March, I lost four friends as well. Two to suicide, two to very quick, sudden illness. So a lot of people leaving. And it's been helpful for me to know from the messages from the masters I've been receiving that we're coming to a point where the belief that's sitting around us, if you can imagine our belief systems as a construct, like a grid, and every time a new experience happens with collective consciousness, it's added to that grid. And it's just become so full and so saturated with experience because the same experiences keep happening over and over and over and over again. This is what the karmic cycle does, which, in my opinion, is not sustainable. Because if you have a grid of belief and you keep having the same sets of experiences over and over again, it's so full and so heavy. There's nothing else left to be experienced. And I'm feeling that people who have chosen deliberately to leave the planet, whether it be through suicide or some other means, have come to a point where their consciousness feels that they cannot create anything else. We cannot do anything new because it's already been done so many times. And so, even though in many religions and many belief systems, taking one's own life is a terrible thing, and having lost both my father and my stepson recently to suicide, I know how challenging and difficult that is. There's a part of me that also acknowledges the consciousness in them to realize that there's nothing else left that they want to create here. They've done it. And it was complete for them. I do think we have an alternative to that, because I think that as conscious beings, we now have an opportunity to be very bold and to be very daring and courageous and choose to create something outside of belief. Because there's still a lot of empty space on the earth. But if you look at what you believe is possible, it looks very full. There's nowhere to go. We feel trapped. So I hope that makes sense, but it's something I've been thinking about a lot in the last couple of days, because it's something quite personal to me, you know. And when you're with family members and other family members have died, and they say things like, oh, it was such a waste, there's so much more they could have done with their life.
Yes.
There's a part of me that respects the wisdom in them, that they didn't want to contribute any more to the beliefs that were already here.
I have been there.
That probably sounds terrible, but
No,
it's just something I've been thinking about.
no, Rebecca. I can talk about my experience because I have been there, and I tried to kill myself, and because I couldn't see a way out,
Yeah,
and I was accessing all the suffering on the collective, and I didn't knew how to. I couldn't bear it. It was so painful, and I didn't knew I didn't knew I was a part of this creation of that suffering of everything. And so yeah, I understand this despair, this take me out of myself. I can't stand being myself because
yeah.
yes.
Because you've already done it. You've done it before so
No,
many
it's
times.
because for me it was like I couldn't see a way out. I couldn't see a way out, and I couldn't see the purpose of everything and why we were here. And so for me, when I finally then I asked help. I said, please help me. And I was really desperate again, and I already had tried, and then actually there was some, let's say, it was not a voice, but saying, why are you so in real? This is not words, but like I was rewinding always in the same place, and because of um, love, but love, attachment, drama, and a lot of stuff, and there was this big love that is that is everything. So the message I got was very, it's like a flash, but almost like a voice saying, why are you bothering so much about this love between romantic or something, or if there is a bigger love? And I already knew it, but I was not conscious, I don't know. And then suddenly I started really accessing everything and understanding, and then like now I am, wow, this is
Yeah.
amazing.
So really,
Yes.
it's not it's not really death of life or death of yourself. It's death of belief.
Yes.
And I think that that's the point we get to, you know, when someone chooses to take their life or leave this experience and transition to something else. It's like I refuse to deal with this belief anymore. I don't want to deal with this belief anymore. And I think we have such a wonderful opportunity now on the planet. And I think it's so important that we're talking about this today, because I know so many people are feeling like they've had enough. We have such a great opportunity right now to say, well, I don't have to believe anything. Because it's when we believe what we think the problem is, and when we really believe what we think our limited choices are, or we believe we don't have choice, we don't have to believe any of it. We can actually just walk away from belief and say, well, I'm not going to believe
Yes.
anything. And that's the freedom.
Yeah.
Such a tricky thing to do when you're right in the middle of it.
Yes.
But to actually look at your life when you're really stressed and in despair, and just to go, I choose not to believe that this is the truth.
But you know
That's courage.
what I felt about after I finally released myself from all these beliefs and all that we are addictive by nature. I don't know why, but as humans, we have to have addictions, and suffering is an addiction.
Yeah. Well, trying to solve a problem
And
is an
drama
addiction.
and trying, yes, and then our ultimate addiction is love, because it's the same when you experience love, it's like an addiction. That's why the people go to the meetings. We come back for to the beginning. Why people go to the meetings? Because they are addicted to that feeling, that love that is flowing
But they're
there.
feeling themselves,
Yes,
because you know that when you are in love, you are experiencing yourself in an amplified state.
yes, yes,
When you are in love, you're not feeling that person's love. Yourself come to
yes,
life.
yes,
You can actually acknowledge, well, I feel amazing when I'm in a relationship, but it's me that I'm feeling. And then how can I then feel that in other circumstances? But look, I understand completely. It's a difficult thing to take full responsibility for how you're feeling. But I think to realize that you are a living God, and when you're in a relationship that brings you to life, you can fall in love with yourself in that moment. Look at me, I'm so good like this. I'm so good like this. I'm actually in a new but not new relationship, and one thing that this other person and I say to each other often is, I'm such a great version of myself when I'm around you. I'm a
yeah,
better me. And we actually like ourselves. We've said that. We said, I like myself now. I like who I am when I'm in this relationship. So why is that? Is that because the other person gives you something or makes you feel appreciated, or because it gives you an opportunity to serve somebody? No, it's because they amplify you. They make you feel more, they're similar resonance, and then you feel more of yourself. That's it. Like two candles, two flames coming together. It's not one giving light to the other. It just, you get more. You get more of yourself, you know? So, yeah,
that's why we
life is
came here
interesting.
for, because when we get together, that's it. And we were talking, we created three, the third energy, and it's much more bigger, and and gives that feeling as if we have like usual before I used to sometimes smoke some weed a little bit because I was never resistant, and right now I can't even try a little bit because if I do it I'll go to sleep. But most but
So funny.
but most of the time I'm because I'm already stunned all the time, in the sense when I connect
Yeah.
I feel like I'm stunned, or I'm so high. Not stunned, I'm high. I'm so happy. And these conversations for me are, yes, it's my joy because I love talking about this subject. And that it's not, I love living this subject. And sometimes in everyday life you cannot speak so openly and meet someone and I love you, come here, and people look at you like
That's true.
she's crazy.
That's true.
And so, but actually I have friends from here around that maybe are watching me, so why can I be more free here? Maybe I'm trying to be the same when I meet everybody and in real life. but it's not easy
Yeah.
sometimes.
Oh, look, I understand, and I think in general, I've been quite a private person in my life. You know, you have, especially, I guess, doing what I'm doing. People have an idea about who you are, and I had a lot of experiences when I was younger. Uh, it's that old paradigm of guruship. If you have access to information, then you are this person. I'm just a regular person like everybody else. And I had a lot of experiences when I first started becoming a little bit more known as a channeler, where people would come to know me as a person with a personality and then become very disappointed with me.
Yes.
Oh, you're not what I thought you would be. You know,
You are not perfect.
you're not perfect. Yes. And that was very difficult for me because it felt like rejection. Because you have to be very open to be a channeler. To channel, you have to completely be naked. You have to be naked, otherwise, it doesn't work. And so to be completely naked, and then people come and say to you later, oh, you're not who I thought you would be. It's quite challenging because you've opened yourself up to do that. And of course, we're coming to a time now on the planet where it's a very important time right now. And I'm actually at a place now where I really don't care. I don't care what people think. I don't care whether they think my personality matches what I do as a channeler. I don't care. The only thing I care about right now is creating as much content as I possibly can, making it available as much as I can, and feeling more alive than I've ever felt before. And honestly, that's all I care about because I've spent too many years worrying about what people think about me. Too many. And I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I feel the same exactly. My
You know,
Yeah, my
I've had
experience.
enough of worrying about it.
Yes, my experience is very different from yours, but I totally get what you are saying, and I'm feeling the same. But actually, um, every day, uh, by interactions, I'm getting mirrors to show me that I still care a bit. So, like yesterday, I have some situation, but right now I care in the sense that I feel sad sometimes because I feel people are not, they don't understand me, or they are misunderstanding, or and so I accept. They imagine that they are saying I don't want to talk about with you anymore. I accept that, but I feel sad. But it's not because I don't know my words. Although I still feel something here in the solar plexus. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very slight. Uh, but it's more like I feel sad. I feel sad because I love so much everybody, and then I feel sad that that person felt or suffered by something I have shared or by something I said. But at the same time,
But,
no, I know that's the way we are expanding. We have to have these interactions, these, let's say, these small duality games. And so I know everything is perfect, but still, sometimes,
it is.
yes,
But I think it's very different. We still think about things in terms of giving and receiving and cause and effect.
yes, yes,
So in that example with this other person you're talking about, you say something, that's the cause, it creates an effect, and it comes back to you and you receive it. That's how we're used to doing things. But I think about things now that we're all these energies that ignite and explode. So you ignited that person. you
Yes.
can't control the explosion or decide which way it's going to go,
Yeah.
but you can take satisfaction. You did a good job because you ignited them.
Yeah.
And then you just go off and you ignite somebody else. It's not about that direction or that direction, because then you're in that loop with them
Yes.
rather than, I'm going to set you on fire. Off you go now.
So I said afterwards, no, right now I'm saying as the thing is happening, I'm saying already like I'm so grateful that this is happening and I'm seeing a lot of stuff happening here and I'm grateful to you. But then the other person like, okay, I hate you too. Okay, okay. So I send love, and sometimes I feel sad, but I know that everything is perfect. That's it. I'm always
You just blew them up.
yeah, yes. And there is
That's
something
good.
for them to look.
Ignition.
There's something for them to look at if they choose to do it. It's
Yeah.
their choice to yes,
But it
whatever.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yes.
That's just our minds trying
Yes.
to
Yeah.
understand what has happened.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
there has been an impact and there is an explosion, you know that you have had presence.
Yes. Yeah,
You
that's
know?
true. That's true.
Presence without intention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, look, I'm sure I make lots of people explode. I make lots of people's heads explode. But I also think that I cause a lot of hearts to explode too. And I think that one of the best things anybody ever said to me years and years and years and years ago, which I've never forgotten, when I first started, I was 17 years old when I first started doing this. And it was a much older man who said this to me. And he said, it's none of your business what people do with the information. It's none of your business what people think about you. Your business is to do what you do. What they do with it has nothing to do with you. And that really, I still remind myself all the time.
Yes. And that's what and the information is, as you say, we go inside, and that's what I'm always doing. I feel the energy flow inside, and then I access, or whatever we may call, what is the truth within myself. And so I send this person a message saying that I feel the love. I love him because I love everybody, and but because I know he is special, because I know every human being is special, unique, and full of potential and creation and beautiful and a lot of stuff. And so I'm his friend, but I'm friend of everybody else in a sense. Um, and because this person was saying like, "Oh, you are one of my special friends," and I said, "I don't want to be your special friend, uh, because for me every friend is special in a sense because every person is special,
Mhm.
and I don't feel like hostage of your heart or something like, oh, you are my special friend, so you have to behave this or that way, because else I won't be myself. And right now I feel I have to be myself. I have to feel flowing, and I have to feel free to say what I feel at every moment and not speaking with him and trying to measure my words so I won't hurt him or so I won't. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
No
so, yeah,
editing. But
yeah,
that's about sovereignty too,
yes,
because we have this belief with relationships on earth that when you are in a relationship that you belong to somebody and somebody
yeah,
belongs to you,
yeah. That's
rather than I belong to myself. That's your freedom. And then you have a right to choose on a daily basis whether or not you want to engage with that person.
yeah, yeah.
You can't belong to anybody and nobody can belong to you.
And at the same time, we belong because we are
We
all
belong to the
connection.
earth.
Yeah.
We belong to source, cosmic energy,
Yeah.
or God, or whatever you wanted to call it.
I'm always
So,
digging.
yeah, we do belong to each other, but in a much bigger sense.
Yes,
In a much
yes,
bigger sense.
yes. Oh, Rebecca,
Mm.
I would like to acknowledge the people that have been with us. which I don't know if they still are, but Alexandra Salgueiro, Shell Edinburgh, and Sabine Saval. They are my friends.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and also Tammy Shervay. She says hi, ladies, and she sends a heart. And Conway, she says, I love that. Go where the energy is. Makes complete sense. And also Linda Thorpe and Sabine again, and probably many others. I don't know, is the ones that appeared here. And so I'm,
Beautiful. Thanks for
yeah,
joining us.
super grateful. And I don't know, maybe it's yeah, it's 1 hour now. For me, I have been loving to be with you. I don't
Yeah, it's
know.
been beautiful. Thank you.
Yes,
It's been nice to have a conversation as two humans.
yes, yes,
We did everything about life, death, love, and kids, and everything in between, didn't we?
yes, yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's yeah, I'm really grateful and joyful, and yeah, I hope we can do this other time if you feel like.
Thank you. I just want to say, just to
Yes, yes,
finish, because I have a sense that there's some people who are listening to us who are looking for some very particular information about what's happening right now.
yes,
So I just want to share that what's happening right now, know that there's a big mass migration of consciousness happening now that's moving us from one paradigm into another, and we have to pass through this matrix of belief to get there. So we are being very confronted with belief systems right now. The belief systems on this planet are all about duality, cause and effect. If you do this, this happens. Two sides of the coin. And what's happening now is the two sides of the coin that very conveniently were choosing not to be aware of each other or in denial of each other are now turning around and facing each other at very, very close range. And it's actually such a great thing, because when this starts to happen and you're really confronted with the opposite side, it actually then starts to merge. And so, even though it looks like everything is very dramatic and very dangerous right now, what's important to know is that the flip has happened. And if the flip hadn't happened, we wouldn't be seeing this on such a coin. Now, you think about that, it's like almost a toroidal experience of coming together now so something new can be seeded. Shift has already happened. The reversal has already happened. This is now the exposure, so that both aspects of life, light and dark, good and bad, whatever you want to call it, right and wrong, cannot deny each other anymore and must actually come together as one. So that's where we are. And it's a really intense time. A lot of grief and trauma inside everybody right now, a lot of tears. And we don't know if it's tears of joy or grief or sadness or excitement or anxiety, because it's the joy of actually coming back together, two sides meeting each other. That's what's happening. So if you're feeling intense at this time, that's why. I think we have a lot to be hopeful for and a lot to be excited about. So I just wanted to share that before we go.
yes,
Thank you, Anna Isabel, for inviting me to come and speak with you today.
yes. I'm feeling the same exactly as you said, and the merging of I see as it's all polarities, they are merging there. That's what I'm being called to do in all situation, to be in that neutral, that center state. That yeah, that's why. And then that everything comes from the same source, that is love. In a sense, that's
Yes.
what we call love, because the word love creates a lot of confusion for the people sometimes, because there are so many labels
Mm-hmm.
given to that word. It's that
Right.
core that remembers us the feeling when we are in love. We were talking about this. We get excited, we shine, we feel, yeah, ignited. And
Yes.
that is the
Yes.
core of everything. Yeah, that's why
Yes.
you said even when someone is angry, you have ignited them in a sense, so they feel that flame too. Yeah. Yeah.
Because when the two sides of the coin actually face each other, we're faced with ourselves. So we can no longer just be calm and just be loving. We are explosive with anger and rage now as well. And just as those with anger and rage are also feeling the love and the compassion. So we are experiencing all of it inside ourselves now. And that's why it's such a crazy time for us. Not only collectively, but personally, it's all happening inside as well. So I just wanted to share that because it might help some people who are listening understand they're not going crazy.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Mm. Thank you.
Thank you. I like to do that. Love you. See you soon, I
Love
hope.
you too. Okay. Thanks everyone for
Big
joining us.
hugs, big hugs to all
Okay.
joining, and
Thanks.
yes, may this joy.
And mate,
Yeah, I just last word, and I give the mic to you. May this joy be with you for the time you choose during your day. I hope you have fun with us. I did. Yeah.
yes. Thank you. Thank you. All the mics. May we continue to remind ourselves that we exist, and may we be bold enough to make choice outside of what we believe. May we be bold enough to say, I don't believe any of this. That's my wish today.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye now.
Bye bye.
Bye.